This is Kugan CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. This is the day of Frampton versus Quig here in Manchester. We're in a hotel in Manchester. With me I have Adam Booth. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? What's your full name?
Kugan CASSIUS.
What's your full name?
Kugan CASSIUS.
CASSIUS isn't a Sri Lankan name though, is it?
I know.
Okay, crack on.
You've got your Wonder Kid on tonight. Can I call him a Wonder Kid?
You wanna?
Ryan Burnett. Interesting, listening to Dave Caldwell talk about Ryan Burnett. Said it was he was the best talent that he'd ever seen. Is that what he said? I'm sure that is actually what he said.
He did, yeah.
It's quite strong considering some of the people that Dave's been around with in his career.
I've said the same thing myself. He is the most talented fighter that I've worked with.
Worked with?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's the most talented fighter I've ever watched, because then, I used to watch Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez, and
Jack
I'm
Johnson,
not going to put that type of pressure on him. But he's the most talented fighter I've worked with, that's for sure.
Quite some statement. We haven't seen the best, or anywhere near the best of Ryan Burnett yet, though, have we?
No, he's still a 12-fight, wouldn't say a novice, but a 12-fight intermediate level fighter now, who's learning and developing, and so I don't expect him to be anywhere near the complete article yet.
Anthony Satul.
Satul.
How did I say it?
I don't know. I just repeated
it. Quite notably, when you look for his record, you see he's stopped by Nonito Donaire. Have you watched that fight?
Yeah, he got caught with a murderous body shot very quickly, and anyone can get done like that. But he's 24 wins, 4 losses, and his only stoppage loss was Nonito Donaire, and he's just over a year ago, he was considered good enough to be an opponent for Nonito Donaire. So he's good enough to be a good challenge for Ryan Burnett.
If you're comparing him to Ryan's previous opponents, is this biggest test or not?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a big step up. I mean, it was no secret that Jason Booth was an incredible pro, but at the age of 38, he knew, and everybody knew, that he was at the end of his career, and he got himself in great shape. But once he realised the danger of Ryan, he used all of his skills and his nous to sort of keep buying himself time and moments in the fight. And also Ryan was deliberately taking his time in the fight to get practice rounds under his belt, in the same way that I've done with other fighters I've worked with in the past. So that was what that fight was. Ryan was always going to win every round and get a chance to practice things, where in this fight he's going to be challenged, and because Anthony Satul is up for it, he's here for a fight, and Ryan needs this step now after his 12th pro fight. He needs this step where someone wants to beat him, someone believes he can beat him, someone's got some weapons that can test him, and that's what I've always believed excellent prospects need at around the 10 to 14 fight mark of their career, that they need the test at this stage of their career so that they become accomplished campaigners and fights.
Fighting on the undercard of Frampton versus Quig tonight. It's been quite an eventful week. Constant bitching by the two camps in front of the world's media. What have you made of it all?
It's fine. I haven't, if honestly, I haven't watched that much of it. It's only since I got up here on Thursday night that I've been catching up with you and Eddie and everyone and hearing all the goings on, and it just sounds like fun and games. It's a great fight. I mean, the fight sells itself, and if there is all this bitchiness going backwards and forwards, then I guess to attract the attention of non-boxing fans, sports fans, and even fans outside of it, that's the type of behaviour and attitude nowadays that seems to get attention. And anything that gets boxing attention, which it deserves, whether you agree with it or not, is good for boxing, because it's a great sport and it deserves the attention.
We've seen a little subplot in the build-up to this fight, sort of the Eddie Hearn and Barry McGuigan, and quite notably this week as well as in the previous build-up to this fight between the trainers Joe Gallagher and Shane McGuigan. There was a little incident on stage, just a little push and shove and things said back and forth in the press conference. But should trainers be that much involved in a build-up of a fight?
In what sense? I mean, everyone's got a different opinion. But if the pulling and pushing, everyone can have a little bit of a pull and a push. If that gets people talking and gets that little bit more attention for the fight and for boxing, then in the bigger scheme of things, it's good, because that's what we want. We want this sport popular, and everyone will behave how they want to behave.
I mean, we had a situation the other day, so on the top table you had Scott Quig having digs at promoters, Blaine McGuigan, Barry's son, Barry himself referring to him as Finbar, and then Eddie Hearn having a go at Blaine McGuigan, and then Joe back.
Barry referred to who as Finbar?
Scott referred to Barry McGuigan as Finbar.
Ah, okay. I thought you said Barry called Scott Finbar.
Is that what I said?
I thought that's what you said.
No, sorry.
Because Barry's birth name is Finbar, isn't it? Finbar Patrick McGuigan.
That
Finbar, bar is Barry, and I think that's a real Irish thing, that if you're Finbar, a lot of Finbars call themselves Barry. At least that's what I understand from Andy. Irishman. I'll take it on the.
I actually didn't know that. So.
I just wondered why we call Scott that.
No, I meant Scott referred to him as that, and that seems to have sort of angered him. But Scott also had a little pop at Blaine, and Eddie had a pop at Blaine, and Joe, and it was just, I don't know, it was like a...
You're saying there's no love lost, is that what you're saying?
It's just like, it's like watching EastEnders, like you know, the New Year's Eve episode where everyone's just arguing at the table.
Who was Pat?
Don't know, Pat would probably be... No, let's not make references to...
Right, stick yourself on it.
But I mean, I've seen you sort of voice opinions before, but you never really get in at it with trainers, yeah?
I think so. I
don't believe I've ever seen you sort of have a proper verbaling, shall we say, with a trainer.
Why would I?
Well, I don't know, if they were to sort of say things about your fighter that you disagreed with, or they said something about your achievements or pedigree as a coach.
But the opinions of others really don't register with me whatsoever, because I couldn't care less of the opinions of others. I only care about what I believe in and the person that I'm working with. And when you're at a fight, as a coach, when you're in a fight situation, you're there to do your job. And I don't think having an argument with the other coach is your job. If you want to have an argument with the coach because you and he have got a personal issue, do it behind closed doors. Confront him man to man, and have your words then. I wouldn't do it on the stage in front of the world's media, where nothing's ever going to happen. It's not going to happen. What you're going to do is just have a bit of a pissing handbags match with him. So I wouldn't want to do that. I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've had, obviously in the past, especially when I was younger, not so much of recent times, but there was always people, you know, whenever you're young, coming into, especially the sport of boxing, if you're considered a young newbie who's working at championship level, you always get people having shots at you, jibing at you. And my attitude was just always nothing it, because I believed what I was doing. I believed in what I was doing, and I would let my work and Father Time tell the story, because in time gets everyone, and time gets everything, and in time everything shows out. So I was never in a rush to argue against criticism of me, because if I was what I thought I was, then time would show it anyway. You need to get involved in a slagging match on the stage. But it sells the fight, doesn't it? It sells the event. People like talking about things around the fight, like football matches. How much punditry when you watch football on TV? There's 90 minutes of football and 190 minutes of chat and punditry. I guess people just like to chat about stuff nowadays.
But yeah, ultimately you're right. It is selling the fight and all these little subplots, like I said.
Subplot.
Yeah, subplots.
Like a Tarantino film.
One of the greatest subplots to a fight was when a trainer was hit over the head with a tripod by his own fighter. That was a great subplot. That really sold that fight. I don't know if you ever remember that fight.
Do I remember the fight?
The build-up, the fight.
Do I remember it? Do I remember it?
We've still got a scar.
Yeah.
I did an interview with Frank Warren recently, and been talking about QUIGG-FRAMPTON, etc., etc. And one thing he notably said was that he believes that with Eubank taking his Blackwell fight instead of going down the Jacobs route for the moment, that he felt that you would have said to Chris Eubank or the Eubanks and suggested that they don't take this fight because you really fancied Andy Lee to beat Billy Joe Saunders. This is what Frank said in an interview to me.
Let me decide. Frank said he believes the reason why Eubank's not fighting Saunders now is because I told them not to, because I thought Andy Lee would beat him or was going to beat him.
Would or was gonna.
Maybe Frank needs to check his beliefs then.
Can you understand why Eubank's taking a Blackwell British title fight ahead of chasing?
I know why he's taking it.
Yeah. Ahead of a world title fight?
I have no involvement in that decision. I know why he's taking it. That's his and their decision.
Obviously had nothing to do with you though. Fair enough. Been around Andy Lee.
You've got that look now where you've run out of questions.
I haven't run out of questions.
And you've got to get every video to 25 minutes. What are we up to?
No, we haven't finished yet.
What are we up to?
So soon. Seen Andy Lee over the last couple of days. I'm assuming you two talk about what's potentially next for Andy. Since obviously the disappointment of last December. Can you give us any updates on?
Not at the moment, no. Nothing to say. If there is, you'll be the third person to know.
Okay. But he will fight again?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
If I was a betting man, I'd say yes.
Okay. Alright.
You really have run out of stuff.
I haven't run out of stuff. I wanted to ask you about Anthony Joshua fighting for a world title in his 16th fight. Only recently won the British title back in December. People have had their opinions about whether he's ready for that world title step up in his 16th fight. What do you think?
If you take away the fact that it's for a world title and just look at the fight and the opponent, I think it's an excellent fight for Anthony to make, because he's proved that he wants to fight guys that can ask questions of him. So ignore the fact that it's for the IBF Championship for a sec. I wouldn't say that Charles Martin is the most accomplished heavyweight out there. There's certainly better heavyweights out there. But having said that, he's a big, sturdy, firm-hitting southpaw. He's got a pretty orthodox southpaw style, if you know what I mean. It's not a tricky southpaw style. And as an amateur at the highest level, Anthony would have boxed a lot of southpaws with that stature and with that style. So he obviously feels that he knows how to beat that style. And the fact that it's for the IBF Heavyweight Championship after 16 fights, after a heated affair with Dillian White where he had a bit of a rocky moment, it just shows that he's got a lot of belief in himself. and so I would tend not to look at the fact that it's for the IBF World Heavyweight Championship and all the things. Well, what about after? You know, when he wins, he's got to defend his mandatories. Deal with that moment when it comes, because as a fight and as a progression from the Dillian White fight, it's a fantastic step up, a very logical one, and one that will create a very competitive fight. But certainly a fight that Anthony Joshua can win.
Who's the best heavyweight that the UK has? I'm not going to say who's the number one heavyweight, because that would say Tyson Fury. But who is the best heavyweight we have?
Well, there's only one answer to that at the moment, and you have to say Tyson Fury, because he's the unified world heavyweight champion who just beat Vladimir Klitschko. And we're in a performance-based business, right? We're in a statistics-based business. There's a winner, a loser, or you get a draw. And he's become the world heavyweight champion. So you can't to say that someone is better than Tyson at this moment in time would be foolish. But the British heavyweight scene is very exciting at the moment.
I only asked you that is because there are people that still believe that, say, David Haye is the best heavyweight that we have. Some people say Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight we have. But, I mean, if we're going by achievement-wise and current status, it has to be Tyson Fury. But people still have their opinions about...
Listen, that's not to say that there's not a belief that there's fellas out there that, if given the chance for the challenge, would beat Tyson, but they're not at that stage yet.
You've got a heavyweight fighting soon, on the 26th of March. Richard Towers. Big up, Richard. Against Dave Allen. It's an interesting little domestic scrap, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. I mean, Richard's a very close friend of mine. And it's time for him to have a fight that tests him, to see what he's got inside him. And Dave Allen is definitely that, because they've sparred a lot of rounds together, so they know each other. And Dave Allen's turned the corner. He's kind of like a very sturdy, solid, run-of-the-mill heavyweight, very, very durable, but still young and fresh. He seems to have got a grip of himself and looks like he trains and eats properly now. So will be a very, very stern test for Richard.
It's shaping up into quite a good little bill, actually, on the 26th. Got Campbell and Sykes on it now.
I'm still too excited about tonight's bill. I can't think that far ahead.
It's a month away, that one. Alright, listen, I need to go and get ready. What?
Yeah. Okay.
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm not. It's just how you.
Need to go and get ready.
I laugh, and people don't realise the back chat that's gone on before these videos, do they? They don't realise how you've harassed me for the last 24 hours to get an interview. You've waited outside my bedroom. You've knocked on my bedroom door at 3 o'clock this morning, desperate to get an interview with me, until eventually you've cornered me in this corridor where I couldn't get away. And now you're making, I've got to go now, I've got to go and get ready, see you later.
Why has it got to be such a struggle to interview you? Like, why has it got to take me 24 hours?
I don't do many interviews now, do I?
Do you not?
No. I speak to you, that's pretty much it.
Is that through choice, or is it because of an unwantedness?
So because I don't want to be interviewed, or I'm off the conveyor belt now. I've sort of gone past.
But you're quite elusive, aren't you? I mean, you turn up to your fighters' press-related things and fights, but apart from that, no one really sort of hears or sees from you. Quite a private man.
Try.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. So I suppose you're not really accessible. Like, it's not like you.
Do you want me to be more accessible?
I know you'd be accessible to me if.
Confident.
No.
If you sat outside my bedroom door at 3 o'clock every night?
No, if I rang you up and said, "Oh look, Booth, can I come down to the gym tomorrow?" So
you tried that one.
Have I?
Yeah, how far did that get you?
I've been down to the gym a few times. What, I haven't been to a gym?
Once.
What? No, I've been there.
Once, because again, you pestered me for 6 months. Should we do an interview again? Should we do another one? Should we do a sequel to this boring drivel?
How about what? No, because like, you were like, I'm the reluctant one, don't really want to talk. Giving me like, scraps, basically.
You only asked
For
for
certain
scraps,
things.
didn't you? You're happy with scraps.
I'm not happy with scraps. I'd rather you opened up a little bit more and...
Have you been shopping for any clothes yet?
No.
You've been sweating your cock off in that coat and hat in the hotel for the last 2 days, haven't you?
No, I've got 4 different hats, so it's a different hat. But it's cold out there. This coat's done me alright.
We're not outside, we're inside. You've been wearing it inside. You freaked out the waitress at breakfast this morning.
See, do you know that point in there where really we should end the interview?
Now, I told you I was in a funny mood and I didn't want to do an interview. And we've managed to get through it okay, so stop it now.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Can we expect to see you at anything press related in the near future?
Je sais pas.
What?
Je sais pas. I don't know.
Okay. Weird fella you are. Weird fella. Adam, thanks for talking to IFL TV, and we will talk to you very soon.
That sounds like a threat.
I think. Thanks.